Wins, 16 losses, and 1 tie on this season. And the first pitch from Cal Steven in for a strike. A fastball at 92. And we are underway with the second game of the day in Charlottesville. Fouled back, no balls and 2 strikes. Cal Steven pitched 2 years at Purdue. As a freshman, all 23 of his appearances were in relief. In his sophomore season, he started 14 games, went 7-4. In his Mississippi State debut this year, Cal Steven struck out 11 in a winning performance against Air Force. He misses just off the plate there for ball 1. Tucker hitting .280 on the year, couple of home runs. And he goes down looking. That's a strikeout to start the game for Cal Steven on the outside corner.
And a good sign for the Bulldogs. Spot his pitches exactly where he wants. Clearly the first pitch of the game is going to be right down the middle to get a feel for the zone. And then with 2 strikes, he paints the outside corner. Cal Steven, after 1 hitter, is dominating the plate with a fastball.
Nearly half the pitches are fastballs. He's really relied on that slider this year. It's a pitch that has become very effective. You see the shadows and the sun, and that's the third baseman, Logan Kohler, who came a long way over to catch that pop fly on the infield for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, it's not an easy play for the third baseman. Mershon, Gold Glove shortstop for the Bulldogs, gives way, and Kohler gets over and makes the play. But 2 quick outs for Cal Steven, who again, you'll always hear what's the best pitch a pitcher can throw, strike 1, and that's what Cal Steven's doing so far.
Despite the fact that the guys on the field dealing with some sun and some shadows, the weather absolutely perfect. 76 degrees, plenty of sunshine as we move toward nightfall. Fly ball out into the outfield, caught by the center fielder Hyzak in the track. That was hit well by Blake Mayberry. But St. John's goes 1-2-3 in the top of the first.
I mean, he's got to establish the fastball, get the hitters looking heat, and then drop that changeup on him.
He faces Bryce Chance to start things off for Mississippi State. Chance, the left fielder for the Bulldogs. Chance hitting .281 on the year. Takes a strike there. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Chance hits this one into the air out into center field, where Tucker, ranging back, makes the catch, and there's 1 away.
Cole Hosser's not going to be intimidated by the situation. He opened up against Florida this year. St. John's rode down there to Gainesville, and Cole Hosser was the winning pitcher in that game. He went 5 against Florida and got the W, so he's got big game experience.
See Chance, Mershon, and Jordan at the top of the order. Connor Hyzak, named to the SEC All-Tournament team, had a couple of huge hits in Mississippi State's first 2 games against Ole Miss and Texas A&M. He was the hero for the Bulldogs in a walk-off home run in the SEC Tournament opener. Sophomore from Taylor's, South Carolina. Chris Lemonis affectionately refers to him as a dirtbag. Just brings it every single day. Shows up to practice with the same energy level that he does game day. Mershon shows bunt, takes a strike at the bottom of the zone on the inside corner. So the next 2 in the lineup, Dakota Jordan and Hunter Hines. 2 guys that are the scariest bats in the lineup, but as of late, it has been a struggle. Dakota Jordan will come to the plate with a runner on first, and David Mershon, who draws the walk.
David Mershon can handle the bat, and it's not a guy that you want on the bases. He's stolen 25 of 28, so when he takes off, he's safe. So that's a tough guy to deal with on the bases. And this guy is too. At one point was one of the better hitters in the conference. Struggled lately, but the guy they call Baby Bo
Jordan hits it hard on the ground to third. Chance for a double play. He runs well, as you can see right there. He's able to beat it out. So Mershon forced out at second. Jordan reaches on the fielder's choice with 2 down in the inning.
Yeah, and when you're struggling, you want to get in and out as quick as possible for some reason. And Dakota Jordan at one time 0 for 18. I think he's 1 for his last 22. And he doesn't even give Mershon a chance to steal the bag. Hits the first pitch, grounds into the fielder's choice. But that's what's going on with Dakota Jordan. Just a little too aggressive, especially early in this game.
And now Hunter Hines to the plate for Mississippi State. 0 for his last 24, 1 for his last 37. Junior from Madison, Mississippi, who has 53 career home runs. That's 5th most in Mississippi State baseball history.
Yeah, when you're doing as well as Mississippi State is doing over the last week without your 3 and 4 guys producing, that's saying something. Hunter Hines, 53 career home runs, like you mentioned. Rafael Palmeiro and Will Clark are on that list. Palmeiro has 67 career, but I like Hunter Hines' approach right here. Staying calm, under control, seeing some pitches, and even if he's behind in the count, you go back to the basics. Just let the ball travel and put it in play.
Palmeiro and Clark at the top of that list. Thunder and Lightning, I believe, for Mississippi. Title last week and really playing good baseball at the end of this season. And offensively, this is the best of the bunch. Jimmy Keenan hitting .341 on the year with 11 home runs and 55 runs batted in. Jimmy Keenan, first team All Big East. Swings through that fastball just above the belt. Lays off an almost identical pitch.
Well, and that's what Cal Stevens going to do. He's going to pitch at or above the belt, and when it has some heat behind it, as a hitter, it's closer to your eyes, so it looks big, but it's hard to catch up to.
2-2, there it is. That's a fastball at the belt, stays on plane at 92 miles an hour. Second strikeout of the night for Cal Stevens. He started each inning like that.
Yeah, the spin rate on this fastball is electric, and it gives the illusion that it's rising, but it really just holds its plane above the waist. And again, as a hitter, it is tough to lay off of, and especially when you know it's coming. So you try to get geared up, try to get the barrel out, and it makes you vulnerable to all the off speed. So when Cal Stevens starts dropping that slider on you like that, it's going to be tough to guess which one's coming.
Marty Higgins, the first baseman. 5 batters faced, 5 first pitch strikes for Cal Stevens. Just off the plate there. Breaking balls time come in all shapes and sizes, right? Forever it was the curveball, that over the top Uncle Charlie 12-6. Then you would see a tighter break on a curveball. Sliders are kind of the same way. Some are more east-west, some have a little bit more depth to them. Is there anything that makes Cal Stevens' slider special?
You wouldn't really know unless you're in the box, but typically what happens with off-speed curveballs and sliders is as a hitter, you can't pick up the spin. And for Cal Stevens, that spin is so tight, it looks like it's fastball, but it moves away from the right-handed barrel.
2-2 pitch. Lifted on the right field line. Dakota Jordan into foul territory, makes the catch. Always a little bit of a challenge when you've got that bullpen mound that is in play as opposed to outside the field of play. Navigates that okay for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Dakota Jordan does a nice job on what looks like an easy play, but he's dealing with the sun. He's dealing with that mound. And when your feet change positions, remember the Houston Astros used to have that bump in center field, and they put Craig Biggio out there. And that was a tough thing to navigate because your feet come out from under you and stuff like that. But that was a nice play by Dakota Jordan.
Paul Orban at the plate. One of 2 Orbans, the Orban brothers, in the lineup for the Johnnies tonight. Hall, the DH, hitting .230 on the year. Big swing and a miss. Well, a huge contrast year over year from Mississippi State pitching. A season ago, they had a team ERA of 7.01. We've talked about tonight that team ERA 4.15. Last season, 321 walks as a staff. This year, down to 206. And first-year pitching coach Justin Parker has come in and really has kind of rebuilt the confidence of this Mississippi State staff. How about another swing and a miss? 3 strikeouts in the first 6 outs for Cal Stephen. He's cruising across. Glad to have you along. Mississippi State, the 2 seed. St. John's, the 3 seed. Winner of this game will face Virginia in the 1-0 game tomorrow night. The loser will face elimination against the Penn Quakers in the first game tomorrow. Connor Hyzak leading off for Mississippi State here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. You guys couldn't see it, but Todd Walker had his shirt off and was waving it around above his head during the break too. Just trying to stay big energy.
Just like Connor Hyzak did not see that fastball right down the middle. Sometimes as a hitter you can fool yourself and you see him beat his chest. Jake Gautreaux, the hitting coach at Mississippi State, brought that into the league. The 2-strike fight, acknowledging to the group that he's going to fight for 2 strikes. Now half the SEC uses it.
Connor Hyzak riding a 15-game hitting streak. Time called there by the home plate umpire, Danny Cricks. That didn't give the batter an opportunity to get in the box, I think he was saying. Full count pitch. Hyzak lifts it out to right field. Beauchamp. Sunglasses on, still kind of shading the eyes. How difficult is it this time of night where half the field's in the shadows, half of it in the sun?
It's tough to hit because that ball is rubbed up with some dirt and mud, and it kind of matches the color of the shade. You made the point, like it was harder if it was splitting between the mound and home plate because the pitcher's now in the sun and the box is covered up by the shadows. But right here, it's still a little difficult to pick up spin and that sort of thing. That's why I always thought as a pitcher you throw more fastballs in this situation because it's tough to pick up the baseball as a hitter.
Time called again. Xavier Kohlhasser wants to pitch fast. That's twice this inning that Danny Cricks has stopped him in his windup.
Yeah. The hitter is supposed to be in the box within 10 seconds of the pitch clock, and the reason the pitcher likes to move fast is because you don't have a lot to think about, number one, but number two, it keeps the defense in play. And so the faster a pitcher can move and the more strikes he throws, the better your defense is going to be. But yeah, Xavier's grabbing the ball and going before the hitter's even looking up.
That's a pitch that Kohlhasser wants as a strike.
Yeah, it's bottom of the zone, and now you wonder how it's going to mess with his timing. See, now they've thrown Kohlhasser a little off of his rhythm.
And by the way, so he gave the warning one batter earlier with Connor Hyzak, but when the home plate umpire that second time came out, he charged Kohlhasser with the ball. So that's a three pitch plus a time clock walk to Amani Larry as Logan Kohler comes to the plate. 2 base runners so far for Mississippi State, both getting on via walk. Mershon in the first inning, Amani Larry here in the second inning. Logan Kohler out to left center field. This ball carrying. That ball is gone. Logan Kohler with his 6th home run of the year gets Mississippi State on the board with a 2-run shot. See the Bulldog fans that made the road trip above the Mississippi State dugout on the third base side.
6 home run for Logan Kohler, and that's where the ball's carrying out in left center. What a difference a pitch makes. That first pitch I thought was a strike. Called a ball, so instead of an 0-1 count, Xavier's faced with a 1-0 count, has to pump the fastball in there with a runner on first base. Logan Kohler takes advantage of it, and the Bulldogs have an early lead.
A group of Bulldog fans made the trip to Charlottesville. Of course, Mississippi State, one of the great home environments in all of college baseball. Dudy Noble Field, maybe the crown jewel stadium in the entire country. Spent $65 million on that a few years ago. So Xavier Kohlhasser on the mound with a 2-run deficit, down 2-0. This little jam shot, and that's going to fall off the glove of the second baseman, Brienza. Ball gets away on the... Joe Powell, 9-hole hitter, the catcher for Mississippi State, takes strike one. Joe Powell thought his baseball career was over. Here's number 55, a transfer from University of Cincinnati. He's originally from Mason, Ohio, was out of baseball, thought he was done. He was in EMT school training to be a firefighter when he got a call from Mississippi State in the fall. Bulldogs needed to add a catcher with Ross Highfill hurt and unavailable for this year. And there was a relationship there with Justin Parker, who had come in as the pitching coach. He called somebody who knew somebody, and they said, you know, you ought to reach out to Joe Powell. Joe Powell's come in and has been one of 2 catchers this year for the Bulldogs. Powell hits this one hard on the ground to the third baseman. Fielders double play. 5-4-3 on the infield. Good turn there, Mayberry to Brienne. 7th most strikeouts. He is now sitting on 100 strikeouts for the season. 1 in the first and 2 in the second. Bottom 3 in the order. And Beauchamp leading things off, followed by Luke Orban and Anthony Brienza in the 9-hole. Beauchamp from Rochester, New York. You ever spend any time in Rochester, Todd?
We had the AAA All-Star game in Rochester. The year I was there, so a little time, one day. Does that count?
That counts.
And all I saw was the ballpark.
It's a beautiful part of the state of New York. I had a football game in Syracuse this year. Flight got messed up. Had to fly into Rochester and then drive kind of across western New York to Syracuse. Gorgeous part of the country. Ball and 2 strikes. Boy, in on the hands, just fisted pop up, and Cal Steven makes the catch himself for the first out in the third.
Well, that fastball's been effective for Cal Steven. 7 up, 7 down so far for the Johnnies, and Cal just kind of picked up what he's done pretty much all year long, just dominating the fastball, working off that with the slider, being incredibly accurate around the zone, and that fastball above the belt works. Gets a lot of swing and misses, a lot of fly ball outs.
Luke Orban from the left side. Mentioned when Paul Orban came to the plate. Brothers on this team. Luke playing shortstop for the Johnnies. Just off the plate, a ball and a strike. Hey, Todd, one of the things that seems to jump out with Cal Steven, he just looks very much in control, not just of the pitches, but of his emotions and of his windup. Just, it's a confident look on the mound.
Well, and he should be. With that high velocity fastball, 93 to 95. And that's something you don't really know the makeup of a kid when they transfer in. Nate Doan was supposed to be the ace of this staff. He's been hurt most of the year, so they needed somebody to step up to go along with Jerangelo Sanger, who had a good year last year, but they didn't expect much from, I mean, what he's been doing this year. He's been dominant, but Cal Stevens steps in, solidifies that ace role, and just is dominated with the confidence that he shows on the mound, the poise, and just taking his time between every pitch.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Out into left center field. This ball handled by Hyzak, the center fielder. And there are 2 down in the inning. The NCAA Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. I've had the iPad on ESPN Plus since about 1:15 this afternoon. Our friends at Squeeze Play putting in a long day in the studio. I don't think there's anywhere Mike Rooney would rather be though.
There's some great baseball minds over there with Chris Burke and Mike Rooney, along with the host Matt Schick and Chris Budden. And Squeeze Play, really an awesome deal to keep up with all that's going on in the country.
First hit of the game for St. John's comes from the 9-hole hitter Brienza, but he's out at second base, trying to stretch it into a double. Brienza pleading his case with Alex Ortiz, the second base umpire. We may have a review as to whether or not the tag actually got Brienza.
Oh, laser focus. I mean, Xavier was rolling through this game, and then he gets the walk to Amani Larry, like you said, by crediting him with a ball in that account, and then it goes home run, walk, and then a bullet to third, and he got lucky to get out of the inning with the 5-4-3 double play. But, you know, he lost his focus for a minute there. But
back to the top of the order, Bryce Chance leading off, and he squares that one up, but out in front, fouls it off third base side. Little man was giving it a chase, wasn't he? No balls, 2 strikes to Chance. Fly ball out to right. Beauchamp. A little easier now that he's completely in the shadows for the first out of the inning. Bryce Chance at the top of the order. 0 for 2 now with a couple of flyouts.
Isn't that the greatest thing, to get a baseball from a baseball game? I remember Shreveport Captains AA. I could never get one. Brought my glove to every game. End up leaving. We're in the parking lot, and they had a foul ball that bounces basically right into my lap. That was the first foul ball that I got from a baseball game, and loved it. Still have it.
So did you keep the ball, or did you immediately put that into the rotation for playing catch in the yard?
No, I kept it. Those things were gold, man.
Out into center field. That one's going to drop in front of Tucker. David Mershon, 2 at-bats, or 2 plate appearances, and he's been on base twice with a walk in the first and a single here in the third.
Well, David Mershon's path to the baseball, he keeps the barrel in the zone so long that right there he's able to stay on it just enough. Hits the end of the bat, but pushes it up the middle for a base hit. And like we said before, 25 for 28 in stolen bases. This guy can really scat.
We've got another walk-off in a regional. UC Irvine with a couple of runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to come from down 12-11 to win 13-12 over Nichols. That's in the Santa Barbara regional.
Nichols from Thibodaux, Louisiana. Louisiana has 6 schools in the regionals. You know how many Texas, the state of Texas, has in the regional? 3. Pretty amazing stat. State of New York has 4. 4 teams in regionals. It's the big state of Texas. with 3, but Nichols, what a great year they've had. UC Irvine, the second best team in the Big West to UC Santa Barbara. Big West had a run of teams in Omaha, different teams, for a few years there, and it seems like they're back.
Dakota Jordan, runner on first and 1 out. 2 of those teams from Texas are in the same spot.
Yeah.
In the Bryan College Station Regional. Texas and Texas A&M soon to be conference mates. A year from now, that will not be possible for the tournament selection committee to put those 2 in the same regional.
Yeah, Texas all over University of Louisiana right now, 10-2. A&M won earlier today. A&M stacked. They've got a full team over there.
The balls and 2 strikes to Dakota Jordan. Chased the elevated fastball, goes down on strikes for the 2nd out of the inning. It's a big strikeout for Xavier Kohlhasser.
And it's such a bad feeling when you're in a slump. You doubt everything you do, and that's just a nice pitch. A lot of times the pitcher just makes good pitches on you, but as a hitter, you take full responsibility for everything. For Dakota Jordan, who's just going through it right now, just the tempo, the timing's a little off, and again, as a hitter, you doubt yourself so much that it's just difficult to step to the plate.
Hunter Hines grounded out to second. He takes a strike. See, Mississippi State with Jordan and Hines in wins. Those 2 are hitting .349. But in the 21 losses this year, just .188. They make this offense go.
Yeah, Hunter Hizak out of the 5-0. They lost him for most of the month of May, so it was up to Hunter Hines and Dakota Jordan to pull the weight of this offense. And Dakota Jordan at one time in the season was hitting .370 with like 17 home runs. First half of the season was big for Dakota Jordan, but struggling to find it here in the 2nd half.
Todd, when you get into a slump like that, what's the balance of mental versus physical? Because sometimes you can end up in bad habits, right? Because you're maybe trying to do too much versus just the mental strain of what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah, well, with Dakota Jordan, he looks jumpy, right? So he looks, he swung at the first pitch, his first time up right there. He swung at a ball out of the zone. It was a nice elevated pitch, but again, when you start doubting yourself, you start swinging at balls out of the zone. And Dakota Jordan, the swing velocity is still there, but you just get yourself out more often than not. And for me, it was always about getting deep in counts, getting jammed if you have to.
This ball hit high into the air to right field, but it's caught by Beauchamp on the warning track. Pretty good swing there by Hunter Hines. Just missed his 16th home run of the year. To the #1 overall seed Tennessee Volunteers. Slow roller to short. Mershon can't field it cleanly. Kind of rolled up his arm off the heel of his glove, and it's a leadoff base runner for St. John's.
Yeah, they might give that a base hit. Mershon only has 2 errors all year. That ball is crazy spinning, and when it hits the lip of that grass, it hops up on David Mershon. Really not a whole lot he could do. Even if he fields it cleanly and makes an accurate throw to first, it was going to be difficult to get the runner. I think that should be a base hit.
Infield single for Jackson Tucker. First time that St. John's has had the leadoff man on base. Technically, they've had one other base runner. Anthony Brienza got a hit there in the 3rd inning, but tried to stretch the single into a double and was thrown out at second base to end the inning. So 2 hits now in the ball game for the Red Storm of St. John's.
Well, to finish your point on the state pitching staff, we've already talked about Sanger and Cal Steven, who you're seeing tonight, who now is over 100 strikeouts for the season. Brooks Auger in the SEC tournament last year made his 4th start, struck out 13, and only threw 12 balls in that game against Ole Miss. I mean, just an incredible outing by him. Nate Dome, who they really depended on, he's back in a big way. Tyler Davis and Tyson Harden out of the pen. So the Mississippi State pitching staff is healthy. and on point, and their defense is the best in the conference. And that's why they're playing so well this time of year.
Chris Lemonis, head coach at Mississippi State. 0-2 now to Garrett Scavelli.
You know, you made a good point about Chris Lemonis. I mean, he won the national championship for the last 2 years. It hasn't been great, and we know how passionate, let's say, the Bulldog fans are there, and Chris Lemonis has handled it so well. I mean, every time I've talked to him over these 2 or 3 years, he's been calm, under control, understands what's going on, and a lot of his issues over the last couple of years has been injuries. Remember, after they won the national championship in 2021, they lost Landon Sims the next year, Scott Simmons, Brooks Auger, who I just talked about, and a lot of other arms. Now, Chris Lemonis won't use that as an excuse, but they've been injured over the last couple of years on key guys that they depended on, and finally this year they've been healthy.
Really keeping an eye on Jackson Tucker over at first base. 90 stolen base attempts as a team this year for St. John's, 68 successful. Tucker, the team leader, with 18 stolen bases. No balls and 2 strikes. Not out of play. I asked Chris Lemonis when we talked to him earlier this week, I was like, you know, with the struggles the last couple of years and noise around the program, how much of it did you hear? How much of it did it bother you? He was pretty honest. He said, you know, I've kind of unplugged from all social media, and I think sometimes we roll our eyes when we hear coaches, you know, they kind of get tunnel vision and just focus on baseball. He gave us an example. There was a current event that was going on, and a couple of his assistant coaches were talking about it, and this was something that everybody in the world knew about. And he was like, wait, what are you guys talking about? And they kind of explained it to him. He's like, had no idea what was going on. He was locked in on baseball.
Good time to get off social media. That's right. I did my first game ever as an analyst 8 years ago, and the Twitter feed blew up on me. So I looked at it and thought, wow, they love me. And I got on there, and
then you read the messages?
That was the moment that I decided to get off Twitter for the rest of my life. Yes. Not good.
Jackson Tucker at first base, 1 down in the inning. 4 strikeouts now for Cal Steven. Boy, he paints with the slider there. Blake Mayberry flew out to center field his first time up. Hit it pretty well. Ball carried out to the warning track. Mayberry hits this one hard to right. That's a fair ball that's going to roll down into the corner. Jackson Tucker can really run, but he's going to slam on the brakes at third. It's a 1-out double for Blake Mayberry, and St. John's has 2 in scoring position.
Cal Steven, for the first 3 innings, was pitching up in the zone above the belt with that high-velocity fastball. Now it's come down a little bit into the zone, and you see that ball low and below the belt. Blake Mayberry able to put a charge into it to right field, and they're starting to understand that Cal Steven in this game has primarily been fastballs, and so now they're starting to jump on it. Cal Steven's going to have to mix it up a little better.
We mentioned this back when it was 5 hitters faced and 5 first pitch strike. Cal Steven has now faced 12 hitters in the game, 11 first pitch strikes so far tonight. He's going to get a visit from his catcher. ESPN is the home for the NCAA College Baseball Regionals for around-the-clock multi-game coverage. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. ESPN Plus subscribers can access expanded coverage with Squeeze Play. If you don't know what a QR code is, just open the camera up on your phone and point it at that circle with the dots in it, and it'll take you to the link. Second and third, 1 down for St. John's. Jimmy Keenan at the plate. This is the guy they want at the dish in an RBI producing opportunity.
Yeah, but Cal Steven's in a situation with first base open. He doesn't have to groove it to one of their hottest hitters. He can play around, dance around the zone. It doesn't matter with one out if he walks him. And if he can get swing and misses like that, that's what Cal Steven wants to do. Pitch out of the zone and try to work off Jimmy Keenan's aggressiveness. But first base open, if you walk him, no big deal. It sets up the double play with one out to get out of the inning.
Well, how about that pitch combo? So slider that looks like a fastball but finishes a foot off the plate and then comes back with 92 on the hands that's running into the hitter. One, two.
Yeah, and at this point, you're pretty much picking one or the other. As a hitter, if you're Jimmy Keenan, you got to decide, is he throwing me the slider away or is he throwing the fastball in? Because it's not possible to hit both.
Keenan asked for time. So maybe got something in his eye.
On the slider, you've got to let that ball basically get over the plate before you even make a move, and you have to go to right field with it. With the fastball, you've got to get the barrel out, look to left field to pull, which takes a lot more of what we call cheating with the barrel to the zone. But if you cheat to the inside fastball, you get the slider, you're out. And if you wait on the slider away and you get the fastball in, you get what you just saw from Jimmy Keenan, a swing and miss up in the zone.
Eight days ago in the Big East tournament, Jimmy Keenan hit a walk-off home run against Georgetown. One of his 11 long balls this season. First team all Big East performer this year. Tucker at third base, Mayberry at second. With one out in the inning, Mississippi State leading 2-0. Popped on the infield. Hunter Hines makes the catch, and that is not the result that Jimmy Keenan was looking for.
I like the 2-2 fastball. You try to trick him and try to get a swing and miss, and you're not successful, then you're faced with a 3-2 count, and it changes the confidence level and everything else of the hitter. But right there, Cal Steven goes with the fastball on 2-2, and he gets the out, which was a big pitch because, again, he didn't want to go 3-2 on St. John's best hitter in this lineup, Jimmy Keenan.
Tucker with a leadoff single. Scavelli struck out. Mayberry doubled the opposite way down into the right field corner. The runners at second and third. Keenan popped out to first, and now it's Marty Higgins at the plate. 0 for 1. Higgins flew out to right his first time up. Driven in 25 this season and is trying to add to that total. Out into the outfield. That's a base hit. That's going to score a couple of runs, and we've got a new ball game. 2-2 with a 2-run single from Marty Higgins. Didn't try to do too much there.
Perfect at bat for Marty Higgins after the fastball on the first pitch. Stays back and gets an elevated fastball. Again, that's why velocity matters. That same pitch at 96, Cal Steven gets a swing and miss, but less velocity. They're able to get the barrel out. Marty Higgins pops it into left field and ties this game out. 2 out base hits win baseball games.
And now Paul Orban comes to the plate. Orban struck out his first time up. Balls and 2 strikes now to Orban. Orban on the ground to third. Kohler over to Hines, and that ends the inning. But the 2-out Kohler in the second inning. St. John's answered in the top of the fourth with a 2-run single from Marty Higgins. And now it's Mississippi State dealing with Xavier Kohlhasser. Connor Hyzak leading things off. Back-to-back starts. Kohlhauser in March got 7 innings deep into a ball game. Did it against Fordham on March 22nd and against Winthrop a week later. In the game against Winthrop, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, and 10 strikeouts. And he did that on just 80 pitches. It's a swing and a miss here, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Connor Hyzak.
Connor Hyzak was the Bulldogs' best hitter within the conference. 30 games in the SEC, hit .387. That's 4th best in the league. And that was a big loss for them during the month of May until he came back for the SEC tournament. And like you mentioned, had 2 dramatic game-winning hits. First, the home run against Ole Miss to end it, and then the top of the 9th of game 2, base hit up the middle, won the Bulldogs that game. They ended up going 2-2 in the tournament.
The stat that you mentioned earlier from the SEC tournament opening victory is still one of the craziest that I've ever heard or ever seen. 13 strikeouts, only 12 balls thrown in the game. Hyzak, that was for Brooks Auger, who was the starter that night for Mississippi State. Hyzak grounds back out to the pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier Kohlhauser has been very good in this game. His only blemish was when he got his focus kind of derailed a little bit back in the 2nd inning. But again, you're talking about one of the best hitters in the SEC. Connor Hyzak just getting fooled a little bit on that off speed, rolls it back to him for the first out. But yeah, the greatest thing for the SEC and all the tournaments, I think, is that these teams can find pieces to the puzzle that they can use. I mean, Brooks Auger, who you just mentioned, he was a bullpen guy. He only made his 4th start against Ole Miss in the tournament, and then pulls out a performance like that, which we won't see again in our lifetime. More strikeouts than balls, not walks, balls thrown. And Brooks Auger is a big piece of this puzzle that Mississippi State, who already had a loaded pitching staff, they found that they could use as a starter.
Ball and 2 strikes to Amani Larry, who spent time at both second base and at the DH spot this year. Larry out in front of that one. He's up to 8 home runs on the season and has had a strong offensive finish to the year. I think that would have been a ball regardless. But Keenan, if he catches that one cleanly, has a chance to get a called 3rd strike.
Yeah, Monty Larry from a big sports family in my hometown here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Football quarterback. His brother Gabe is at Mississippi State, as good of a baseball player as Amani.
Larry goes down on strikes. That's the 2nd strikeout of the game for Kohlhauser.
Well, again, for Xavier, I mean, he's got his focus back, and he has been dominant since the 2nd inning. Just mixing in that changeup with the fastball, working off that with the slider. And again, we talked about him in the open. He is a big game pitcher, and is, keep his heart rate low and under control during these big games. But got a great mix of the fastball and the change and the slider working so far in this game. There's a look at the changeup that he gets swings at 40% of the time, and it's real effective against the left-handed hitters. The arm action is the same, looks like a fastball, and just drops out of the zone.
Two and two. Team ERA for St. John's coming into the game, 4.26. That's 16th best in the country. Kohler hits this ball hard down the right field line. That's a one-hopper against the wall. How about a 2-for-2 night for Logan Kohler with a 2-run home run and now a double.
Sticks with his plan. Xavier dropped 2 really nice changeups on him, one for a swing and miss and one in the middle of the zone, and then thought he could sneak a fastball by him and just doesn't. Logan Kohler, and then entire at bat looking for that fastball, got it and rips it into right field for a 2-out double.
I thought one hopped the wall. It looked like that ball actually hit at the very base of the wall on the fly.
Yeah.
First pitch strike to Aaron Downs.
That exit velo was north of 100. That ball was ripped.
In on the hands, Downs pops it up, and it's Kohlhasser that makes the catch. Now, just the overall attitude of your team for all that they worked for throughout the course of the season to get back to this spot.
Yeah, we talked about it all week. It's well-deserved, and it's a battle-tested group. I mean, they've been through the rigors of the SEC, and now it's time to take part in the postseason. They're fired up.
Coach, Cal Steven was really dominant in the first 3 innings. In the 4th, like you mentioned, he was getting the fastball ride up in the zone. In the 4th, it seemed like he kind of split the plate a little bit. What have you seen from Cal?
Yeah, I thought he's been great. You get 2 outs and bang, you get that 1 hit that goes through with 2 outs. But besides that, I think he's been really good.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Chris Lemonis, head baseball coach at Mississippi State, and Beauchamp leading things off. Bottom third of the order for St. John's, who's got new life in this game after a 2-run single from Marty Higgins in the top of the 4th inning.
6th year for Chris Lemonis. Seems like he just came over to Mississippi State. Won the national championship 2021. First time in program history.
Prior to being named the head coach at Mississippi State, he spent 4 years at Indiana. Took the Hoosiers to 3 regionals in 4 seasons. Got the Bulldogs to the College World Series in 2019. They were off to a 12-4 start when the season was canceled in 2020. Hot shot to third, fielded by Kohler. Sweet tag by Hines at first base. What a play on both ends.
Yeah, first by Kohler, giving ground. And anytime as a defender you make a nice play, whether it's a dive or a play like this, you get this sudden burst of energy, and then all of a sudden he doesn't get his feet exactly right, but he makes a strong enough throw over. It has tail on it, and like you mentioned, nice job on the other end by Hunter Hines to handle that ball and then make the tag at first base.
First out of the inning, Beauchamp retired 5-3, and now Luke Orban fouls the first one off. So coming back from that 2020 COVID-shortened season, Mississippi State in 2021 followed it up with a 50-18 record and a College World Series win. Team that was led by Will Bednar, who was so very good down the stretch for Mississippi State.
Well, and Landon Sims. They had the Batman and Robin thing going. Yeah, both of Will Bednar was fantastic in Omaha. Pitched twice. Just incredible numbers.
2 down in the inning.
But again,
a couple of Tanners on that team also. Logan Tanner behind the plate and Tanner Allen in the outfield. Guys that were both on the College World Series all-tournament team back in 2021.
And what they did, in addition to Florida back in 2017, is impressive considering the history of the programs. I mean, Ron Polk and all those years at Mississippi State and all the great players they had never got it done. And Chris Lemonis comes in and wins the national championship for Mississippi State. And again, same with Kevin O'Sullivan in 2017, the first time that program's ever won it. SEC has had quite a run over the last 6 or 7 years.
How about the fact that this year Of the top 8 seeds in this tournament, only one has a national championship. Larry with a backhand behind the back, long throw, not in time. That's an infield single for Brienza. Larry did everything he could to get that third out in the inning.
Well, he's an athlete, and they've used Amani Larry as a DH a lot this year because they had better options at second base. But I've seen Amani make some Gold Glove plays, a couple of them last week in the SEC tournament, and then this one. His momentum took him too far away from the target to be able to make this play, but still made it close. What a good-looking play from Amani Larry, even though he didn't get the out.
2 down runner at first, and back to the top of the order, and Jackson Tucker. Tucker takes ball 1. So again, only one of the top 8 seeds in this year's field has won a national championship. That was Georgia back in 1990. Completely different format of the tournament when that last happened. The 4 schools with the most trips to the College World Series without winning a title are all top 8 seeds this year. Talking about Florida State, Clemson, Arkansas, and North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, the top 8 national seeds, only one national championship between them. And, of course, the stat about the #1 seed having not won the national championship in this century, 20-plus years, is just incredible stats.
Tennessee Vols would like to buck the trend on that. Miami in 1999, the last to do it. And a pickoff and a rundown. Flip over to Cal Steven. He tags out Brienza. And that brings the inning to an end. Mike Hampton will join us when we come back. 2-2 Mississippi. But it's been a little while. How gratifying was it for you to get to see this team win their way back into the NCAA tournament?
No, that's what it was. I'm glad that these guys were able to experience it. And we got some older guys. We got some young kids. You know, they've worked their tails off, and I'm glad they're able to experience this.
Coach, you've won 4 of your last 5. Your offense is fighting Cal Steven. What's it going to take to get to Cal?
You know what, we really have to stay on top of the baseball. I mean, we've had some early outs that are fly balls and pop-ups, and you know, we just really need to work on hard line drives and hard ground balls.
And Coach, last thing, your starter tonight, Cole Hosser, got into a little bit of trouble there with his rhythm, kind of messed up in the second inning. Aside from that, he has really battled on the mound.
You know, he's a solid pitcher for us. He throws strikes, he gets after it pretty good, and we just need to have him keep getting outs. That's the biggest thing for us.
Coach, thanks so much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Mike Hampton joining us, head coach at St. John's. Been part of the program at St. John's. First as an assistant. He was the hitting coach and recruiting coordinator from 2002 until 2019. In his 5th season as the head coach. We talked to him, so he was part, Todd, of that run that St. John's had from kind of the early 2000s into the teens, where they were a regular participant in the postseason. Powell goes down swinging. And they had a little bit of a hiccup. He gets the head coaching job, and boom, you have the COVID season. And he told us when we talked earlier this week, he's like, I understand that everybody had to deal with COVID. He said, but it was different in New York City. They were in Queens. He said they were still wearing masks in the weight room prior to the beginning of the season of 2022.
Yeah, but like you mentioned, what a great run they had since 2004. Made it to the postseason 11 times in that span, but not since 2018 until this year. Mike Hampton has definitely made a difference in this program.
Second baseman Brienza calls for it, makes the catch. Bryce Chance now 0 for 3. Seeing that first COVID-shortened season, 5-9 in 2020. And then progression. Last year, a winning record, 3 games above 500. This year, they win the Big East tournament, 37-16-1 overall. Win over Florida in the season opener. It was the highest ranked win against an opponent in program history. That's a first pitch strike to David Mershon.
UConn won the regular season of the Big East by 3 games, but St. John's came in. UConn went 2-2 in the tournament. St. John's wins it, and here they are. But very impressive.
A nice win earlier today. Quick inning there for Xavier and Cal Stephen. Both 5 innings in the books, both 2 earned runs allowed.
Yeah, and Xavier's matched him. I mean, other than that little blip in the 2nd inning where he got called for the timing balk, he's been really effective too. What a pitching duel we've had so far.
Top of the lineup, Jackson Turner. He takes a slider at the top of the zone there. Falls behind in the count, 0-2. Tucker was at the plate when Brienza was picked off to end the 6th inning. I don't think you saw it as we were going to break, but Mike Hampton was out having a discussion with the umpire about whether or not that should have been called a balk. Maybe some movement with the front leg from Cal Stephen.
Yeah, a lot of times if you're the runner and you're watching that right-handed pitcher, if he buckles that left knee, it's as if he's collapsing to go to the plate. And so a lot of times pitchers know that they'll buckle the left knee and then they'll do the pick, which is a balk, but it's so subtle that most people don't pick up on it, including the umpires.
There's strikeout number 5 tonight for Cal Stephen to start things off in the 6th. Second time that Tucker has been a strikeout victim.
He's been really good. I mean, pitching up in the zone with that fastball, and again with that tight spin on that slider, it looks like the fastball up above the waist, so you feel like as a hitter you got to get the barrel out early, and with the lack of the velocity on the slider compared to the fastball, you're out in front and get the swing and misses. But Cal Stephen's done a nice job of mixing those 2 pitches.
Garrett Scavelli takes a strike there. How about this? 15 starts so far this season for Cal Stephen, and he has had a quality start in 9 of the 15. Defined as 6 or more with 3 earned runs or less. He's pitching really well. Aggressive base running. Scavelli with a double. Slides in just ahead of the tag at second base. And that puts the go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out here in the 6th.
Perfect slide by Scavelli into second base. A lot of times you see guys overslide or a little awkward into the bag, and he just sticks the landing right here. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it actually was. Nice accurate throw from left field, and Amani has to turn and make the tag, but Scavelli up in under the tag, and nice risk there when it's going to be a low-scoring game. Try to get the run in scoring position.
70 pitches so far in the game for Cal Stephen. Justin Parker, the pitching coach, on a visit with Stephen, brings the entire infield in. The NCAA Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Down in the Tallahassee Regional, heck of a game going between UCF and Alabama. UCF, the 3 seed, leading 6-5 over the 2 seed Alabama. Texas A&M a winner today against Grambling in the first game of the Bryan College Station Regional. Texas doing their part to set up a Aggies Longhorns matchup tomorrow night, leading 12-4 over the Ragin' Cajuns. Blake Mayberry doubled in his last at bat. Todd Walker, talk to me about this stance with the front foot picked up, just kind of a toe tap in the front.
All kind of weird things you see these guys do. A lot of open stances nowadays, but he gets into position. So you don't really concern yourself with where it starts. It's where he gets at the point of contact. Now with him, with the kind of the leg sweep, you have to be extremely timed up with this swing. But I always like hitters starting in the position they're going to end up in when the pitch is on its way. But he's got some timing mechanisms going on there for sure.
Ooh. Close pitch there on 0-2.
Yeah, that's not one you want to leave in the umpire's hands. That was really close. And with 2 strikes, part of the 2-strike fight and the 2-strike approach is you expand the zone a little bit. Don't leave it up to the home plate umpire to call you out.
The 1-2 from Steven. It's almost like Blake Mayberry heard you. Pretty similar location to the previous pitch, and so not gonna do that a second time.
That shows you that he made a mistake the pitch before. He knew he should have swung. He got fooled. But now he's in swing mode, and that's when you drop the slider on him out of the zone.
This ball hit in the air to left off the end of the bat. Bryce Chance may have had just a little bit of trouble finding that. Able to make the catch for the second out of the inning.
Cal got away with one there. That was center cut fastball right down the middle to the 3-spot Blake Mayberry, and he just misses it. And I think
playing the trying to deke him game.
Yeah, that's become popular, hasn't it, this year? But I think, well, there is a chance, no pun intended, that Bryce Chance lost it in the sky. A lot of times that ball will be the color of this twilight sky, and it's tough to see. And so that might have been an issue there.
Jimmy Keenan at the plate, 0 for 2. Big swing. We were talking about the stance of Mayberry a second ago. Keenan's is a little unique in that it's not so much his feet, but that left arm. It's almost like a golf swing where you're really trying to keep that left arm straight as long as you can. He's got it extended all the way back.
Yeah, and you saw Cole Messina for South Carolina in the SEC tournament last week, wrapping that barrel all the way around his neck. But again, it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. And so no matter what kind of stance you have to begin with, if you get in a hitting position as the ball is coming to the plate, then you're okay.
Cole Messina had a big moment for South Carolina today.
He's had a few big moments over the last week.
Strike 3 called outside corner. Fastball at 94 on the black. 6 strikeouts now in the game. 3, 4, and 5 coming to the plate for Mississippi State.
Geico can help.
Starter, they're without their number 2, Brady Tigert, for the regional, but they've got the best pitcher in the country in their back pocket for tomorrow night.
3 pitches and a quick out for Dakota Jordan, swinging through the second pitch and then freezing on the fastball at the bottom of the zone. 0 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, and when we talk about slumps, clearly you get dealt on some. The bad luck is certainly a factor. You said, you know, Dakota Jordan hit the hard ground ball in the first. It does not find a hole. So every time you put it in play, you're out. Every time you get dealt on, you're out. And then you'll get the umpire call you out on some weird calls as well. So the slumps are real, and it's just a tough thing to get through because mentally you lose it and you start doubting yourself and your swing. And Dakota Jordan is a great hitter.
Hunter Hines, not to pile on, but 0 for his last 26, 1 for his last 39. Now, just missed a home run in his last at bat, but that kind of goes into the same thing, right? I mean,
Yep. Every ball you barrel out, you're out. Every ball you don't hit well, you're out. And it is a tough thing to navigate.
15 home runs, 51 runs batted in. 53 career home runs for Hunter Hines. We talked about it earlier. 5th most for all time. 1 out of being tied for 4th place with Connor Powers, who had 54 in his career. But instead of strikeout, back-to-back strikeouts for the 3-hole and the 4-hole hitters Jordan and Hines. to start this half inning for Xavier Kohlhasser, who, Todd, looks like he's getting better as the game goes along.
Oh, he's fantastic. We talked about that in the open. His changeup's nasty. He gets 40% whiffs on that changeup, and he's able to use it, especially against the left-handed hitters. But outside of that little blip in the second inning where he got called, you know, for moving too fast, and he lost his train of thought for about 3 hitters. That's it. He's been almost perfect.
He is pounding the strike zone right now. Got his first strikeout in the 3rd inning, 2nd in the 4th inning, 3rd in the 5th inning, and 2 strikeouts so far here in the 6th inning, and then a chopper to 3rd, and Mississippi State goes 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 6th inning.
He's just dominated the strike zone with strike 1, 0 walks, faced 22 guys, and the pitch count's good. It's only at 78 through 6.
Steven gave up a 1-out double to Scavelli in the 6th inning. Then got a fly out and a strikeout. 6 strikeouts. And no walks tonight for Cal Steven. Marty Higgins had the big hit for St. John's in the top of the 4th inning with 2 outs and runners on 2nd and 3rd. Sent 1 out to center field, scored both runs, knotted this game at 2. That's where we stand. As Higgins bats for the 3rd time in the game, 1 for 2, make it 1 for 3 on the 7th strikeout of the night for Steven.
And there's that slider. Not a ton of movement. You wouldn't call it a wipeout slider, but it's enough to get the hitters off the fastball. And when they're looking fastball, you're going to be early on this pitch just like that, and you're going to swing right through it. So Cal Steven's done a nice job of guessing along with the hitters, and when they're looking fastball, he drops that slider on you and gets the swing and miss.
So Todd, put yourself in the batter's box for a second. We were talking about the different types of sliders. You just mentioned wipeout versus this one, not a ton of break. Does this type slider look more like a fastball than that wipeout slider?
It looks more like a cutter. So
okay,
just like that pitch right there that cuts to the outside part of the plate against the right-hander. It works as a cutter, which means the velocity difference is about 10 miles an hour off the four-seam fastball, and it makes the hitters off balance just enough that they're going to hit a lot of balls off the end of the bat, and they're going to swing through it and miss. And you've got to respect that fastball, especially up in the zone, because the higher the pitch is on the fastball, the more speed it looks like it has. So in other words, a 94, 95 above the belt looks like it's 105. And as a hitter, you feel like you got to get the barrel out early, and that makes you vulnerable to that slider.
And that's kind of the velocity differential that Steven has been pitching with tonight. There you see the slider at 81. And he's kind of lived at about 92 with the fastball. It's been up to 94 tonight. An 8-pitch inning for Cal Steven as Larry squeezes it.
The Mississippi ace, like you mentioned, with the 5 strikeouts, only the 1 home run, 23 batters faced. He's walked 2, but he's been very impressive.
Amani Larry, first pitch, fly ball out to right field. 1 pitch, 1 out as Beauchamp squeezes it in right.
And what has worked for both pitchers as we go along in this game is both offenses have been very aggressive early in the counts, and they're getting themselves out. Again, when that kind of rhythm starts happening, I always thought it was my job as a hitter to slow it down a little bit, get deep in counts. Of course, that's easier said than done because you can't be afraid to swing with 2 strikes. But let him throw strike 1 like that. Let him dance around the zone a little bit, get deep in counts 1 by 1. You'll start to wear him down.
Kohlhasser's season high for pitches, 107. He did that in 7 innings against Fordham back on March 22nd. Gets a swing and a miss there on the 89th pitch of the game. Logan Kohler 2 for 2 in this game tonight. 2-run home run, the only runs on the board for Mississippi State. The rest of the lineup has combined to go 2 for 20. How about 3 for 3 for Logan Kohler? Down into the corner. Beauchamp digs it out. Kohler cruises into second with a stand-up double. He's got a 2-run home run and a pair of doubles tonight.
Well, when you got guys in the middle of your lineup struggling, you need somebody to step up, and that's been Logan Kohler tonight for Mississippi State. The home run in the second and back-to-back doubles. This ball's down and low to the left-hander, which is a no-no. All they do is just drop the barrel on it. A little lucky with the line there, but another double for Logan Kohler out of the 7 spot.
This is the second time tonight that Mississippi State has had a runner in scoring position. Same guy both times. Kohler with the doubles. Nostradamus Walker over there. Up in the pen, Tim Cunningham.
Yeah, he's their main dude out of the bullpen, the sidewinder. Tim Cunningham with that 2 ERA.
At this point, Mississippi State, other than Logan Kohler, might be content to see anybody. Anybody other than 33 on the mound. Aaron Downs pops this. It's going to get into the seats.
Yeah,
Souvenir over there for somebody.
That Sky is hiding that ball a little bit. We saw Chance a few innings ago, couldn't find it, and then again you see the reaction from Luke Orban, the shortstop, couldn't see it. The twilight sky, it's tough to see.
Aaron Downs with a single and a pop out. He's off the elevated fastball. Kohlhasser approaching 100 pitches. Sitting on 94 in the game. With runner on second and 1 down. Strike 3 called. Downs goes down looking for the second out of the inning.
Just like Cal Steven on the other side, Xavier Kohlhasser has been in control of that fastball and keeping the hitters off balance. Right about the time Aaron Downs looking for the off speed. Xavier burns him with that fastball. 6 strikeouts today.
Season high in strikeouts for Kohlhasser is 10. He's done that 1 time this year. 6 strikeouts tonight, and he opens Joe Powell in the 9-hole with a first pitch strike.
You know, we're talking about this guy. There was a regional a few years ago where there was a walk-off ball lost in the sky of a super, wasn't it? It was out in California. But that's a real thing, man, and that's something you really got to watch the ball off the barrel of the bat or you'll lose it.
Fly ball to center field. Is it in Palo Alto? First pitch from Cal Steven is a strike to Luke Orban. Orban batting in the 8-hole, 0 for 2 with a fly out to center and a pop out, or a line out rather, to the second baseman.
That was Stanford, Texas in the Super Regional last year, where Stanford hit the ball in the sky. Texas lost it, and it was a walk-off ball lost in the sky win that sent Stanford to the College World Series. And we used to deal with that in the Metrodome in Minnesota. You know, we would actually go and we'd go and practice that because the ball got up in there and you literally would not see it unless you were really focused in on when the ball hit the barrel. And nothing more embarrassing than the ball go up in the air and you're just standing there and it drops right beside you.
Nobody on the field could find it in that game.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. It is a panic situation for sure because you literally do not see it. And so what are you going to do?
2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Orban. Strike 3 called. The slider to nip that outside corner for the strikeout to start the 8th.
Man, if you love pitching, this has been the game, and we dressed it up that way at the beginning. Both staffs really, really good, both on St. John's side and then Mississippi State, but Cal Steven's been doing this all year long. He has really taken a hold of that ace role and done a fantastic job for the Bulldogs, and he's carried it on into the regional tonight.
Nine-hole hitter Anthony Rienza. Rienza's got a couple of singles tonight. But it's been an issue once he's gotten to first base. Had the single in the third inning that he tried to stretch into a double and was thrown out by Chance, the left fielder, and then was picked off in the fifth inning to end that frame. Fouls it off behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, and we talked about these guys that open up series or open up tournaments. Clearly you got to have the talent to be the guy on the mound to start. But more than that, it's how long can you last. We saw Virginia and Joe Savino earlier today ate up most of that game. And you save your bullpen. It's going to be a long tournament, especially if you lose this first game. You got to come back and win 4 games to win this thing. And so you're going to need a lot of pitching. And to save that bullpen in game 1 is huge. And both sides so far tonight has been doing that. And just another outstanding slider from Cal Steven.
Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 8th inning. 4 of the last 6 hitters that Steven has faced have gone down on strikes. 2 looking, 2 swinging. Top of the order, but Tucker drops a good one, picked up by Powell. The throw gets out into right field. Tucker thought about trying second base, probably thought better of it. I don't know that anybody was expecting Tucker to drop the bunt down there, but it was a beautiful one.
And that's when you do it. But it was an outstanding bunt, but that ball was going foul. So as an infielder, both had the third baseman and a catcher. If you're not going to get him, the timing of it was so much so that Powell was not going to be able to make this play. You just let it go. If it stays fair, it's a base hit. But watch this ball going to hit that lip and go foul. But instead, Joe Powell picks it up and tries to make the throw. He's already safe. So again, as an infielder, the thought process is, can I get him? No. Okay, well, if I can't, just let it roll and maybe it goes foul, which in that case it was.
Scavelli doubled in his last at bat in the 6th inning. 1 for 3 tonight. There is nobody warming in the Mississippi State bullpen as Cal Steven is now 2 pitches away from 100.
Well, this is a good spot for Tucker to take off. If he's blown up at second base, it doesn't matter. You got Scavelli leading off the next inning, but with 2 outs, it's worth the risk to try to get him in scoring position. And he's stolen 18 bags, 18 of 25 on the year for just Jackson Tucker.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. That is K number.
And now facing the lineup for the 4th time, Bryce Chance, the leadoff hitter for the Bulldogs, his 4th at bat against Xavier Kohlhasser. And again, I always thought as a hitter it became your advantage against a pitcher the more you faced him. And so that's why it becomes more difficult for these pitchers to last through the lineup. And you don't see much of it anymore, but it shows the quality of stuff that we're seeing both from Xavier Kohlhasser and Cal Steven, who have gone through these lineups 3 or 4 times and still getting outs.
Bryce Chance fly ball out to center field. Tucker runs it down, first out of the inning.
You know, as a hitter, you get the timing. You see that. You've seen all the pitches, and again, it goes back to what I've talked about also, which is your first at bat. The more pitches you saw your first at bat, it sets you up for the game. And for me, it just made me a better hitter. But these pitchers have been awesome tonight.
The top 4 hitters in the lineup, top 5 if you want to extend it for Mississippi State. There is 1 hit that came from David Mershon in the 3rd inning. Mershon at the plate right now. He's been on base twice with a walk and a single. A little bit of an extension there for Kohlhasser. Strike called just off the plate. Chopper on the infield. Rienza Over to first. 2 down in the 8th for Mississippi State. ESPN is the home for the NCAA baseball college baseball regionals. For around-the-clock multi-game coverage, scan the QR code on your screen. ESPN Plus subscribers can access expanded coverage with Squeeze Play. If you're watching Squeeze Play, you see this game right now, plus Illinois, Indiana State, and Long Island against North Carolina. How about North Carolina with a 1-run lead over Long Island, 5-4 in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, that's what we love about this time of year. High Point, and Clemson locked in a battle in the 6th inning. You know where High Point is?
It's in North Carolina, isn't it?
Great guess. It's in High Point, North Carolina, and they just took the lead. 3-2. First time High Point's even been in the tournament in that school's history, along with Niagara. A few first-timers.
Kohlhasser has logged a new career high. He's gone 7 2/3 in this ball game. He'd gone 7 innings twice this year. A lefty up and throwing now. That's Luis Marinaro.
I always said at these higher levels that a hitting coach is more of a psychologist than he is actual technically your coach. And Jake Ocho, you saw him pull Dakota Jordan aside right there, and it was strictly positive thoughts and positive influence into this at bat. Nothing technical. You just say, hey, remind him that he's a great hitter, and let's see if it works out for Dakota Jordan here.
Jordan behind the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
So we talked about all the elements of slumps, which is you hit it right at people, the umpire gets you, you get dealt on. The other part is you always seems like you're 0-2. You're always behind in the count.
That's 3 straight strikeouts for Dakota Jordan. He's 0 for 4 in the game. 8 complete now for Xavier Kohlhasser. This year has been outstanding.
Yeah, he made 14 appearances for the Bulldogs last year and had a ERA north of 9, but he's figured it out this year. The changeup is a real plus pitch. The VCU transfer, spent first 2 years at VCU, has been at Mississippi State the last 2. The 6'2 left-hander, like you mentioned, has had a really nice year out of the bullpen.
It is a 1.35 ERA, better than 9.
It's 8 better. Yeah.
What a turnaround.
Yeah, and I heard you give credit to Justin Parker earlier, and I think you got to get a lot of credit to the pitching coach who's turned things around for this kid in his 4th year.
Rashawn fields it at short, throws across, and Blake Mayberry is retired to start the top of the 9th. Mississippi State has had probably 3 arms that they really have leaned on out of the bullpen. Tyler Davis, Tyson Harden, and Cam Schulke. And now you can add Nate Dome to that mix.
And if they don't use Brooks Auger in the starting role, he's a bullpen piece as well. He spent most of his time back there this year. But I would imagine they'd save Auger for game 3.
Mississippi State has not officially announced who they're going to pitch tomorrow, but I think we all know that it's going to be Jurrangelo Cijntje, either in a 1-0 game where they're trying to advance to a regional final, or a keep the season alive game.
Yeah, what a great story. Mid-90s from both sides, lefty and righty. He was a shortstop, drafted as a shortstop out of high school. He's only really been pitching high-level baseball for 2 years, so Jurrangelo Cijntje, nice story, pitch tomorrow.
But this one far from done. Jimmy Keenan, who has had an incredible year, first team all Big East, hitting .471 in his last 5 games, 70 hits on the year, 19 doubles, and yet tonight he is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts and a pop out to the first baseman. As Mike Hampton, the head coach for St. John's, looks on. His team back in the postseason for the first time since 2018. And Keenan goes down on strikes for the 3rd time tonight.
It's amazing when you look at 6'4" charts. Most of these left-handers in college have better numbers against right-handed hitters than they even do the lefty-on-lefty matchups. And it's because the off-speed just works better. And Tyler Davis right there, after throwing him a few off-speed, pumps that fastball in there, gets a swing and miss from Jimmy Keenan.
Marty Higgins late on the fastball there for strike one. He's got the big hit tonight for St. John's. The 2-run single back in the 4th inning. It turned a 2-run deficit into a tie ball game, and that's where we stand here with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. No balls and 2 strikes to Marty Higgins. Tyler Davis trying to keep this game right where it is for Mississippi State. The 0-2. Fouled back.
The right-hander's only hit 167 off Tyler Davis.
And this one hits the foot of Marty Higgins. Well, he got that back foot. That is the first free pass of the game for St. John's.
Or given up by Mississippi State, depending on how you want to look at it, but that's impressive. You win the free pass game, you usually win the baseball game. And right there just tries to get the swing and miss up under the hands of the right-hander Marty Higgins and just holds on to it a little too long. And with 2 outs, Johnnies have a little action.
Brings the right-handed DH Paul Orban to the plate. Orban 0 for 3. Strikeout, ground out, fly out. It's Tardy on the fastball. Count goes to 1-1. One and 2. Orban with 2 home runs on the season. One against Hofstra, one against Ryder. Both back in early March. On the ground, backhanded by Mershon, takes the short route to second. Fielder's choice for Orban. Mississippi State 4, 5, and 6. Hines, Hyzak, and Larry coming up in the pitches tonight. His season high is 107. He did that in 7 innings. His next pitch will match the career high. He's already set a career high for innings pitched. 7 strikeouts. The only 2 runs came on the home run back in the 2nd inning from Logan Kohler. Kohler's been the story offensively for Mississippi State, 3 for 3. Hunter Hines 0 for 3, and his count goes to 1-1.
Mike Hampton showing a lot of faith in his guy right here, going through the heart of this Bulldog lineup. Hunter Hines, where I talked about the career home runs, 53 from this guy, and then Connor Hyzak, one of the best hitters in the SEC, right behind him.
Hines, a base hit into right field. Mississippi State with the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 9th inning with Connor Hyzak coming to the plate.
And I would imagine that would be it for Cole Hauser. Hunter Hines gets the ball out over the plate he can handle. Kind of tried to sneak a change up through there and leaves it up and pops it in the right hit field for a leadoff base hit for the Bulldogs.
I know that was almost in slow motion, but when he hit that ball, it was almost like he said, "Thank goodness."
I was in a slump so bad back when I was going through it that I got a base hit and made a right turn at first base and started heading the dugout. I mean, you just get conditioned, and what a relief for Hunter Hines to finally break through.
Connor Hyzak goes after the first pitch, and he pops it up left side of the infield, and the shortstop Orban catches it. Didn't even give us a chance to remind you what he did in the SEC tournament last week, where he had the walk-off home run against Ole Miss in the Tuesday game and the 2-run single against Texas A&M in the top of the 9th on Wednesday. He's going to be the hero tonight. It's going to come in extra innings. Hunter Hines at first with 1 out for Amani Larry.
These outings are a little different in this day and age baseball. Clearly, you don't see anybody go into the 9th inning that starts the game, but you want to extend them as much as you possibly can. Again, like we talked about earlier, saving pitching through the rest of this tournament.
Larry in the air to left, and it's caught at the wall by Scavelli. So close to a walk-off home run for Amani Larry, but Scavelli robbed it. We talked about it earlier today. The fences here at Charlottesville a little lower than you see in a lot of places. Scavelli doesn't catch that. We're done.
Yeah, and he just hit it off the end just enough. Xavier Kohlhauser at this point is getting away with a lot. He's leaving.
Sweet Lou, they call it. First pitch, strike to Logan Kohler. Kohler 3 for 3 tonight for Mississippi State.
Predominantly a fastball pitcher, Sweet Lou. 82% of the time he uses that fastball. He will mix in the changeup to the right-handers and more sliders to the lefty-on-lefty matchup that you see here. And Logan Kohler has been really good in this game. Already 3 hits with 2 doubles and a homer.
We saw the numbers again. Marinero 6-2 on the year.
Yeah, he gets the timing warning also that we saw. Xavier Kohlhauser got it back in the 2nd inning. But that
strike 2 to Logan Kohler.
That 3/4 arm slot as a left-handed hitter, when he releases it, it's behind you, and then when he hits that outside corner, it's tough to find the contact point.
Swing and a miss, and we are going to extras. Sweet Lou out of the bullpen gets the strikeout of Logan Kohler. 9 innings, not enough. And now we're in the 10th inning. Tyler Davis came in and pitched the 9th. Allowed 1 base runner on a hit by pitch. Bottom 3 in the lineup: Beauchamp, Orban, and Brienza for St. John's here in the top of the 10th. Beauchamp pops it up right side. Hunter Hines, 1 away.
That's going to be tough to get it out of his ballpark when the sun goes down. Not a lot of wind to help you out. Ball isn't carrying as well. And the Johnnies with 7, 8, 9 coming to the plate. Luke Orban, the left-hander, 0 for 3 tonight.
Both Mississippi State and St. John's 3-1 in extra inning games this year. This ball hit off the leg of Davis. Luke Orban hit that one about as hard as you can hit it. And it's a 1-out base runner for St. John's. Davis trying to wave the trainers off. They always come out anyway.
Yeah, that popped him. He's got a lot of muscle down there and hits him off the left leg. And that's the one that hurts the least. It's the one that hits the bone that hurts. And hit him the bottom of the leg, and unfortunately for him, bounces too far away to make the play. But this is a point in the game where St. John's has to make something happen. The 9-hole Brienza coming up has 2 base hits in this game already, and you do have the lefty staring you down. Luke Orban has 6 stolen bases on the year, but this might be a time where a hit and run might work if you get in a favorable count.
So Brienza, a couple of hits in the game. He's got a team-high 9 sacrifice bunts, but already with 1 out in the inning. Do you give up an out just to get a guy in scoring position?
No, you wouldn't do that, but the third baseman, Kohler's back. He's on the grass, on the dirt. And so what we were taught as hitters, even though there is 1 out and less of a threat of a bunt, when the pickoff happens, you square around and show as if you're going to bunt. But I think that was just a deke by Brienza. I think he's swinging away.
Single in the 3rd, single in the 5th, strikeout in the 8th for Anthony Brienza. He takes a strike there.
But again, Kohler's back. So as a hitter, I always look down at the third baseman. And if he was back in this situation and they're going to give you a base hit, if you can put it down the line, you go for it.
Amani Larry going to make the over-the-shoulder catch for the 2nd out of the inning.
And there was the hit and run. Just not executed by Brienza, who pops it up in the air, but the runner Orban was in motion. Now with 2 outs, it turns the lineup over to Jackson Tucker, who's had 2 base hits in this game.
Back to the top of the order, and Jackson Tucker singled and scored in the 4th inning. Orban stretching that lead over at first base.
Yeah, and if they were to steal, it wouldn't be a deal where you're reading the pitcher like a right-hander. This would be a deal where you go what they call first move. So if you're going to try to steal second, you take off, just guessing that Tyler Davis is going to deliver the ball to the plate.
Luke Orban 8 for 10 in stolen bases this year. Do you like the gamble of trying to steal in a situation like this?
The decision is whether or not the guy at the plate, you don't mind him leading off the next inning, even if you get to that spot, because clearly the Bulldogs have a chance in the bottom of the inning. But in this situation, yeah, it's worth the risk. You got your leadoff guy up at the plate right now. If you're thrown out, he leads off in the 11th. It's worth the risk to get him in scoring position at this point. You just got to find the right time to do it. And when he's paying attention to you early in the count, it's probably not the right time. You wait a few pitches now.
There it goes, throw to second, gets away. And so Orban gets the stolen base. He's in scoring position.
Yeah, I like it. Johnnies are playing to win. And even though everybody in the ballpark kind of knew, especially the Bulldogs, that they were going to try to steal that bag, he takes off anyway. And that's the first move that I was talking about. As a runner, you're not reading him. You just, as soon as he lifts his leg, you take off. If he picked off right there, you're just picked off. But they gambled and they got it right. And now they got a guy in scoring position with 2 outs.
Two 2-0 now to Jackson Tucker. 2 out in the inning. Beauchamp popped out to Hines at first to start the inning. Orban hit the hot shot off the leg of Davis to reach base. He's at second after the steal. Brienza popped out on the hit and run. 2-1 now to Tucker.
Yeah, I'm shocked he challenged him right there. 2-0 predictable fastball count. Jackson Tucker was all over it, barely fouls it off. But with first base open and 2 outs, it frees up the pitcher to make a pitch. Because again, you don't overly concern yourself with walking him or not.
North Carolina with a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 9th inning to win 11-8 over Long Island. 2-1 here. 3-1.
How about that regional? 2 walk-offs today. LSU walked off Wofford in the game right before that.
And that was after Long Island hit either a 2 or a 3-run home run in the top of the 9th. The 3-1. Strike 2. Full count now to Jackson Tucker.
Whenever you get 2-0, you usually get 3-1. I think Jackson Tucker was thinking along the same lines. First base is open. He's not going to challenge me. And he does. Jackson Tucker kind of outthinks himself. And now you really don't know what you're going to get from Tyler Davis.
Tucker spoils it to stay alive.
But he's going after him. And as a hitter, this is the time when you have to decide if you want to gamble and get out there and get the fastball, or whether you want to be a little more passive and wait back on the off speed. But so far, Tyler Davis is challenging Jackson Tucker. I think this is a point where you try to get that barrel out on the fastball.
Full count, lifted into the air to left, but he got underneath it. Chance backpedals, squeezes it, and we go to the bottom of the 10th, still tied at 2. Mississippi State looking for a run and a win with 8, 9, and 1 coming to the plate. Marinero back into the game, hit hard to third base, off the glove of the third baseman Mayberry. He had it, but then kind of rolled away from him, and Aaron Downs with an infield single to start the bottom of the 10th.
Aaron Downs working off the fastball heavy Luis Marinero, and Mayberry does about all he can to try to stop that ball. He does stop the extra bases, which is huge. Keeps it close to him, but wasn't able to grab the handle. I think that ball hit a seam on the dirt, chopped up on him just enough to get out of the glove.
Joe Powell, the scheduled hitter here. Mississippi State is going to pinch run for Aaron Downs. They'll bring Michael O'Brien into the game. A little more speed on the bases for the Bulldogs. And you would assume that Joe Powell is going to be asked to lay down a bunt. He does not have a sacrifice hit this season.
Yeah, but this is the time to do it. The 9 spot turns over the lineup to the leadoff 1-2.
Solo home run for a 2-1 win. Powell shows bunt, takes ball 1.
And if you're going to bunt, go ahead and show it early. Now everybody knows you're doing it. Keep that barrel in an angle, so if you foul it off, it doesn't go straight up in the air like we saw earlier today.
Powell 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th, flew out in the 7th. Offensive meeting here. What's the discussion? Assignment at any point, because Keenan has thrown out 25 base runners trying to steal this year. Powell gets the bunt down, first base side, fielded by the pitcher, executes it perfectly, and O'Brien gets into scoring position.
Yeah, a lot of people think bunting's easy, but you know, you can do it all you want in practice, but until you're in the heat of the moment in the 10th inning to try to win a baseball game, it makes it a little more difficult. Nice job by Joe Powell, just putting it down the right side, making the left-hander Marinero field it, gets the job done. Turns the lineup over to the leadoff hitter Bryce Chance.
So top of the order, Bryce Chance 0 for 4. All 4 of his outs in the air. 3 fly ball outs and a pop out. Luis Marinero came into this game in place of Xavier Kohlhasser, who went 8 2/3 innings. Marinero got a strikeout of Logan Kohler to end the 9th inning. Gave up the leadoff single to Aaron Downs. Powell bunted him to 2nd. Chance fouls this one off and is behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
And Marinero doesn't mess around. He's coming at you with the fastball. 82% of the time he uses it. And the only thing as a hitter now is where's the location going to be? Up in the zone, down in the zone, away, inside.
Bryce Chance on the ground, left side, runner going to go to 3rd. The throw to 1st in time. Orban over to Higgins. Winning run 90 feet away from Mississippi State, but 2 outs in the inning.
Nice job handling that hop by Luke Orban in that stressful situation. Kind of short hopped him a little bit, but comes up with it cleanly, gets the second out.
Having that runner at third, though, gives you more options to score. It doesn't take just a base hit. Wild pitch, pass ball becomes part of the equation as well. Keenan has been really, really good defensively this year for St. John's behind the plate.
Yeah, that's a great point. It really, in some cases, changes up your pitch sequence. You don't want to throw a fast ball, but in this case with Marinero, fastball heavy, that's not really a threat, but they're going to intentionally walk. I would imagine, you know, in normal circumstances, Dakota Jordan swing a bat like he usually does. They walk them both and load the bases. But Dakota Jordan struggles so badly with 3 strikeouts already in this game. They may just walk David Mershon to give him the force at second base and pitch to Dakota Jordan.
If they pitch to Dakota Jordan, you set up the opportunity for what would be a little bit of a redemption story. A guy that has struggled mightily, but has got a ton of talent and is a projected first-round pick. So here we go. Dakota Jordan takes a first pitch strike. See the difference in the wins and the losses for Jordan and Hunter Hines. Fights it off the opposite way, foul, and Dakota Jordan in a similar spot. You mentioned this earlier. When you're slumping, it feels like you're constantly 0-2.
Always.
3 straight at bats where he's gotten 0-2.
Isn't that amazing? And now you just fight. Let the ball travel, get jammed if you have to. See it as long as possible. Forget about what you're going through and focus on the moment.
Dakota Jordan 1 for his last 26. Takes ball 1. 0 for 4 tonight. Two and 2 to Dakota Jordan. Canton, Mississippi native, played high school ball at Jackson Academy.
Two-sport star, big-time football player. They had to get the football out of him, Coach Lemonis says, to get in this spot. Now 2 and 2.
Jordan lifts it in the air to right. Beauchamp going back. It's a walk-off. Dakota Jordan, the hero from Mississippi State. A 2-run opposite field home run. And the Bulldogs win it in 10 innings. Nostradamus Walker over there. Up in the pen, Tim Cunningham.
Yeah, he's their main dude out of the bullpen, the sidewinder, Tim Cunningham, with that 2 ERA.
At this point, Mississippi State, other than Logan Kohler, might be content to see anybody. Anybody other than 33 on the mound. Aaron Downs pops this. Get into the seats.
Yeah,
Souvenir over there for somebody.
That Sky is hiding that ball a little bit. We saw Chance a few innings ago, couldn't find it, and then again you see the reaction from Luke Orbaugh, the shortstop, couldn't see it. That twilight sky, it's tough to see.
Aaron Downs with a single and a pop out. He's off the elevated fastball. Kohlhasser approaching 100 pitches. Sitting on 94 in the game with runner on second and 1 down. Strike 3 called. Downs goes down looking for the second out of the inning.
Just like Cal Steven on the other side, Xavier Kohlhasser has been in control of that fastball and keeping the hitters off balance. Right about the time Aaron Downs looking for the off speed, Xavier burns him with that fastball. 6 strikeouts today.
Season high in strikeouts for Kohlhasser is 10. He's done that 1 time this year. 6 strikeouts tonight, and he opens Joe Powell in the 9-hole with a first pitch strike.
You know, we're talking about this guy. There was a regional a few years ago where there was a walk-off ball lost in the sky of a super, wasn't it? It was out in California. But that's a real thing, man, and that's something you really got to watch the ball off the barrel of the bat or you'll lose it.
Fly ball to center field. Is it in Palo Alto?